And congratulations on the album. It is an absolutely fantastic album, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Now, you wrote the lyrics for this album, and I was just wondering, what was it that the band was setting out to achieve with this album? This is your debut album. You've already got a fair bit of success behind you with some of the tracks that your fans have fallen in love with. What was your main aim to deliver with your debut album?
Honestly, we just wanted to shoot for the stars. You know? We wanted to make a statement with our first full-length record, and we really just wanted to basically make a melting pot of all the stuff that we personally love as musicians and that we wanted to hear. We just wanted to make a record that could be listened to in multiple ways. If you can jam it in the car with your friends and just have a good time, or you can listen deeper and realize that there are deeper messages, and also create a record where lyrically the listener can relate in one way or another.
Was that kind of a difficult mix to get? Because like you said, there are some pretty deep topics looked at on this album, things like toxic relationships. Was it difficult to write from such a personal point of view, but like you said, also make it an album that people can listen to in the car and jam along to?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed difficult at some times, you know, especially recording this album during COVID, like just when COVID started getting in the United States. It definitely made it hard and definitely put extra pressure on us, but, you know, we had the extra time to perfect it to the way that we wanted. And, yeah, it was definitely difficult lyrically. Even though, you know, the topics are very close to me, whether it be, like, toxic relationships or, you know, songs like Desecration, Isolation, where I talk about, you know, something related with me and a family member. It definitely got difficult at times, but, you know, the emotion was there and the music was there, and I really just tried to match the emotion in the lyrics to, like, what the music itself was making me feel. Like if it was a blisteringly heavy part, and it gave off like a dark, angry tone, then that's the direction I went. But if it was melodic and it gave off a sad, kind of tone, then that's where I went lyrically. So that definitely helped for sure to have music that spoke to me on an emotional level.
Do you find writing on that emotional level quite easy for yourself? Do you find it a cathartic kind of thing, like writing in a journal, really?
It definitely was cathartic. I'd say that is 100% accurate. This writing the lyrics of this album is usually the most cathartic and experience of my life, and it helped me in a lot of ways get past those subjects and, you know, finally, you know, purge them, put them onto paper, and, you know, scream them through a microphone. Or have Josh scream through a microphone, but I do a couple parts here and there. It definitely was difficult, though, trying to put things into words that wasn't, like, too on the nose or, you know, it didn't come off corny. I wanted it to hit just right. I wanted it to also have an artistic kind of sound overall. So I didn't want to use, like, I didn't want it to come off in a way that seems cookie cutter. You know, I really wanted it to hit home and be memorable for sure. That was a big objective, was to make these songs memorable for people.
Yeah, I know that you've said in the past with To Wither Away that was a track where you could clearly hear the chorus in your head from the very start. Was that the same with a lot of the tracks on this album? Did they come to you quite easily and be playing around in your head like that?
Sometimes, yeah. It was definitely, To Wither Away was definitely the most natural for me. Like, it's literally the first time I heard it, the patterns and, like, the way that it should be screamed was so loud and clear in my head that, you know, I texted our vocalist, our old vocalist, because he was still in the band at the time, and I was like, do not touch this song. I'm calling bids on it. I I showed it to everybody, including our producer Randy in the studio. He loved it, and I think everybody's pretty pleased with it. And that definitely makes me feel good knowing that I can write something, and especially for like the first time of taking on this responsibility and having everybody in the band in our circle like it and be excited about it.
Yeah.
The other songs definitely were a bit difficult at times for sure. But some of them came along easier than others, definitely.
The world's been such a crazy place over the last couple of years. How much of what was happening in the world around you was influencing you when you were working on the lyrics for this album as well?
I mean, in terms of like COVID and around us, it didn't really give me any inspiration per se, but it definitely gave me the extra time. And you know, it hit me in a certain way where, like, you know, obviously the world is in a very, you know, deep emotional place for a long time. And so, like, those emotions hit me, and I guess I could say that, like, kind of being put into a pretty sad place, and it helped me, you know, really dive into that sad headspace and you know, really finish out the songs for that match those emotions, like songs like Coalescence or you know, Desecration, or even Pretty Notion. You know, that one I even had help on by one of the dudes on our team in the studio. But yeah, it definitely helped channel certain emotions so that I could, you know, get to that headspace and write that way, because I can't just naturally come on being sad. Like, if I'm sad, I'll write that way, or if I'm angry, I'll write that way. But if I'm in a good mood someday, and like I'm like, oh, I have to write this, I know that I just can't force myself into this situation. Everything on the album lyrically came very natural.
The other thing I mentioned before as well is you guys came from a very unique position with this album. You already had some very successful EPs. You already had a steady fan base. Did that in a way actually put more pressure on you when you were working on this album?
It definitely was maybe a little bit difficult, but at the same time, I think we looked back at our past bodies of work and really used that and what we wrote in the past to help better ourselves and what we were going to write for this album. And especially working with our producer Randy on the last album as well, it really helped us look at our music and what we could improve and make better. So I think, like, every time we go into the studio, we try not to think about maybe too much of what people will think, because we don't want to just people please all the time, because then that kind of hinders creativity and allowing yourself to go outside the box. But, you know, there are definitely some moments where we're like, hey, like, is this us? Like, is this too, like, maybe outside of the box? You know, I think it's the point with that felt natural. You know, do every time. Just every time I think it's always listening to writers.
Yeah. You also worked with Randy LaBouffe on this album as producer. Tell us a little bit about what it was like working with Randy and what you feel that he brought to your music as well.
Randy is a genius, straight up. He has a very, very extensive musical background, musical education, and he really helped bring this album alive in a way that makes it imaginable. Because, you know, we were a little arrogant going into the studio, thinking that, like, our pre-pro was, like, perfect, and that, you know, he wasn't going to have any notes on it or whatever. You know, beforehand, he was like, these songs sound great, can't wait to dive into them with you. We thought, like, everything's, like, perfect, and then we get into the studio, and sure enough, he had his notes, and we, in the moment, we were terrified. Like, oh, man, like, our record is compromised. But, you know, we put our egos aside, and we listened to his ideas and his inputs, and he helps make these songs what they are, and he really, really is knowledgeable in just, like, audio and like, different sonics, and like, handling different vibes very well, and, like, just his knowledge of music, like, what you can do with it is infinite. He really helped the ambience part of the record too. Like, the ambient elements, bringing those alive. He really helped elevate the track Solitude, the instrumental interlude that's in the middle of the album. We had a very big hand in that because we had the rough idea of what that song was going to be and what we wanted it to do, and he just took it to a whole new level. And like basically all the ambience that you hear on the record, essentially like a good portion of it, yeah, we came in there with the bare bones of it, but he really elevated everything and showed us what more we could do with these songs. I can't thank him enough because he really, made this record even more what it is.
Definitely. Well, it's ended up being an absolutely amazing record. I have to ask, how do you feel now that it's out there to your fans, but also how do you feel that you're being able to get back out there and play for your fans again?
I mean, it feels amazing, honestly. Having it out finally after sitting on it for what feels like 2 years now, almost, it's absolutely surreal. It's everything we could have ever hoped for. It's definitely going up in listeners from what I see. I've seen a lot of positive responses, and a lot of lovely feedback so far. And being able to play it for people now after getting to listen to it for the last week on this upcoming tour, it's really exciting, and I'm excited to see what else it does.
Awesome. Well, Dave, I know we are running out of time very, very quickly. So to finish up, what would you like to say to all of your Aussie fans out there before they take a chance to sit down and listen to the album?
All I can say is I hope you all thoroughly enjoy it and just know how hard we worked on it. And I hope you guys pop the chance because we feel it deserves. And we hope it gets. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did creating it, and we hope that it's in your regular rotation, that you enjoy it and continue to listen in the time to come.